There are two modes that you can use, the free mode and the standard mode. You can use this button to switch between the two of them. Let's start with the standard mode. This is used when you want to build a project with panels connected to each other. For example, we can create a Python panel and let's define a simple data frame. Now let's create another panel that will be fed with whatever was defined in this panel. We connect the two panels either by dragging the connection between the out part and the in, or we can just click on connector here and add it. You can think of the in and out parts as gates. Whatever is connected to in will be accessible from this panel, and whatever is connected to out will be able to see or modify the contents of this panel. In this second panel, let's change the data frame and do a simple plot using matplotlib. We have three running modes here. The first button here will run only this first panel. Let's see what happens. The second button runs everything that is connected to in, which in this case is nothing. As you can see, nothing new happened. The third mode will execute the panel and whatever is connected to out. In this case, it will run both panels. Let's now see how to run things from the other panel instead. If we press on the first run option, it fails because the data frame is not defined here. If we run the second mode, it runs perfectly because it runs the panels connected to in as well. Finally, if we press on the next button, it fails because the data frame is not defined. We can complicate things further. Let's add another panel connected to the first panel. Now, whenever I press on Run Everything, both panels will be computed. Notice that when I pressed Run, actually what happened is that the two branches were executed independently. The panel on the top was combined with the panel on the left, and separately the panel on the top was combined again with the panel on the right. That generated two processes that were executed independently. The only issue is that this is kind of slow. Perhaps we want to modify the lower left panel and not rerun again the panel on the right. Let's do a simple change to our code by, for example, changing the data frame here. If we want to run this panel again with its corresponding inputs without running the panel on the right, we click on the second run button here. This will run the panels that are connected to the in, plus this panel. It is very important to highlight that in this mode, every time that I press on run, either one of the three buttons that I described, a new session is invoked in Python or R. So if I want to access the variables from an unconnected panel, I need to connect a panel and rerun everything. The standard mode I just described is amazing for organizing your project, but it is rather slow. Every time you press run, either one of the three modes that I described, a session will be created in Python or R, the results will be printed, and the session will be killed. This means that if you are changing your code a lot, you need to recompute everything every time you want to make a change. A nice possibility is to use the free mode. We click here and it is activated. As you can see, the connections disappeared, and we only have one button to run stuff. Now everything belongs to the same R or Python session. It means that I no longer need to rerun stuff. For example, here we have the data frame, and here we change an element in a different panel. See how the data frame is still in memory. The free mode is very nice for quick development and allows you to code in a deliberate, disorganized fashion. Here I am using an example containing several machine learning models in Python. I can just click on this button, on the first one, and everything gets populated. But what happens if I want to test new models? I need to create new panels, connect them, and keep changing my code and rerunning multiple times. An easy way here is to activate the free mode. Put my new model over here and run it as many times as I need. And then, after being reasonably confident that I don't want to do 100 extra changes, I reactivate the standard mode and that's it.